for the 100th time. Oh yeah, my theme music. Listen to that. Yes, for the 100th time, this is the show where Ohio throws down. Ohio is on fire. I am the incredible Dan Diesel. I can't believe I've done so many episodes. I'm proud of myself. I'm going to give myself a pat on the hand, pat on the back, wherever you can pat yourself. But I am live here at WWSU 106.9 FM. Dayton's right choice for Ohio is on fire, number 100. And I got a great show for you tonight. Although I like to think all my shows have been great, this one's definitely going to be great. I can almost go to the Racino Ranch that's going to open up this summer and bet money that this is going to be a good show. Because tonight I'm going to have a call-in interview with David Dyer. I'm going to have him call in around 8:20, so hopefully he's listening now. He's on the road. He's going to be coming to Wiley's Comedy Club for a performance tomorrow night in Dayton, Ohio. So I'll be doing an interview with him. And also, I'll be talking with, they'll be live in the studio, but the story changes. Mark from the Story Changes, he'll be in the studios. We'll talk about his music and the music scene in Dayton, Ohio in general, play some music from his latest album, but also he told me about an hour ago something I didn't know about earlier. He's going to play a song that he's been working on. He's going to do it live in his studio. That is very cool. It makes me feel so happy inside that he's going to do that. And of course, he told me probably couldn't make it. He had personal plans that he couldn't get out of. So anyway, Mark will be here tonight from the Story Changes. Two big guests, and also at the end of the show, I got something to get off my chest about the radio scene here in Dayton, about why I couldn't find another place to go after I left here my first stint, because I had such a nice show the first time around. I thought I could get in, but somehow I couldn't. And I've made some discoveries about what goes on in corporate radio Dayton, and I will reveal that at the end of the show. I will try to stay positive, but yeah, there's a lot of things I could get off my chest about all of that. But anyway, I'm going to be happy. Now, here is the top 10 things I've learned since I have been doing Ohio is on Fire. Of course, I started in 2007. I did a website called Now Live, where you could sign up, you could use your phone and do shows from your phone. I did that from 2007 to 2009. Though, of course, then I did my first stint here from 2009 to late 2010. Then I went to iTunes for a whole year. That was from 2011 to 2012. And then I was gone for about, I didn't do anything for a month and a half to take care of life. And I'm back here for my third show, and I've made it 100 episodes. So this will be a historic night, I guarantee it. But I've learned 10 things. Hi, how you doing? Yes, I love it when people wave at me through the window. So anyway, top 10 things I've done as the host of Ohio's on Fire, things I've learned. At number 10, hosting your own show doesn't give you backstage passes to any event in this world. I tried it. I tried going to that Aerosmith concert in San Francisco. I tried telling them, hey, listen, buddy, I'm the host of Ohio's on Fire. When you're a host of a radio show, you got to let me in. They said, nuh-uh, you're not a big enough star, Daniel. Too bad. So, no, you can't get special passes to any event. I don't know if you can get any backstage passes to any event, really. I'm not sure if the radio card works. Anyway, number 9, chicks dig the microphone. Oh, yes. I can't tell you how many women came by here, waved at me, saying, oh, Daniel, look at you talking to that microphone. So, yes, I like that aspect of working in radio. Number 8, it is a bad idea to broadcast in the rain. Yes, very bad idea, especially because our broadcasting material, it's all electronic. And you got to plug into outlets. If a thunderstorm comes and you're outside, say at Shawnee Park in Xenia, starts storming, I'm pretty sure your stuff is going to get all damaged. And you'll be out a lot of money, and you'll probably get electrocuted too, so it's a bad idea. Anyway, at number 7, when you're put on a good radio show, ignore all alarms. I mean, fire alarms, earthquake alarms. If a fire were to break out, if a fire were to break out in the lobby right now, I'm not leaving. I'm staying right here doing Ohio is on Fire because I'm cool like that. And at number 6, hosting your own show does not give you superpowers. So no, I did not grow to be 10 feet tall. I can't shoot lasers out of my eyes. I can't fly because I host a radio show. That does not happen. Okay, at number 5, with today's technology, anyone can host a show, or at least they can try to host a show. Because I know back in the 70s, if you knew someone who knew somebody in radio or television, you could possibly have a gig on their show, and even that it was limited. Most people had to sell for life, digging up cemetery tombstones. Not that there's anything wrong with working in a cemetery, although unless you hate cemeteries, then there'd be something wrong with it. But anyway, the thing is, thanks to podcasting, nowadays a lot of people can give it a shot, even if they weren't meant to do it. And there's probably 10,000 podcasters right now. Of course, in college radio, if you count all the colleges that have DJs, I think the average college radio station has like 30 DJs. And if you multiply that by, I think, say 300 colleges with radio stations, that's a lot of people. Some of them have it, some may not. Some people did it to impress their girlfriend, because it's Valentine's Day, and what a nice aphrodisiac to host your own radio show. Wink, wink. I ain't winking at anybody. I'm single right now, ladies. Number 4, the audience loves commercial-free programs. I've had to do commercial-free programming for quite some time. It looks like I might have to do another one tonight. I don't know if it works, so yay, commercial-free radio. And of course, number 3 on my list is that corporate America hates commercial-free radio because they may get paid last. So that's, but they're billionaires. I think they can live if every once in a while call a show. They can't play any commercials. But you're all wonderful. I'm sure your cause is great. But anyway, corporate America, they need to have their commercials played because they'll lose them pennies. All that corporate America. Well, I tell you what, corporate America, I'm going after you tonight a little bit because I got something to get off my chest about corporate America and radio. But anyway, that's at the end because I got some ammo to unleash, but I gotta be happy. I gotta be happy for my guest. Okay, number 2, the thing that I've learned in my 100 episodes of Ohio is on Fire. And number 2, if the nachos get stuck together, that is one nacho. Remember that. That is the rule of parties. That's the rule of life. And you just got to remember that. Now I got a special treat for everyone. On the phone, on my special phone line, I got stand-up comedian David Dyer. He's calling out Michigan. He's going to be here tomorrow night. But Dave Dyer, say hello to everyone.
Hi, how is everybody? How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing great, man. And you sound great. Yes, your audio was able to get to the audience, so people will be able to hear this interview. I was worried about that, but it's going to work out. So anyway, but thanks for calling, David. I got to ask you, what was your inspiration for you to become a stand-up comedic?
A lot of it came from my dad. My dad was a very, very funny guy and was probably my biggest comedic influence, not only because he was funny, very witty, he was a real smart guy, but just the stuff that he introduced me and my brothers to. He listened to a lot of Bill Cosby growing up. He had Bob Newhart albums. He had Jonathan Winters, George Carlin, and Richard Pryor, even though we weren't supposed to listen to that. We knew where he kept them, so we were able to find them. So, and just the kind of television he watched, he watched a lot of things like Monty Python's Flying Circus and movies like It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and I can remember watching Silver Streak and things like that when we were kids. So my dad was hugely influential on my comedy career, and I can remember listening to those albums and just thinking that it was just amazing that these guys were able to pay their bills by making people laugh. So it was something I always wanted to do. I went to college and I studied theater and I was in a band, so I had a lot of experience being on stage. But I didn't really start doing comedy until about a year or two after college. But I finally, built up the courage to get on stage by myself and do stuff that I had written. So it took a little while, but I got there. My dad was a big part of the reason why I did it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, you do a pretty good job of your comedy. I have checked out a few of your videos, so it's paid off.
Thank you.
It's paid off for you. Now, I want to know. I was really impressed by the fact that you are like a contributed writer to the Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, or at least you were. Of course, there's a big change at NBC right now. He's going to become the Tonight Show host this Monday, and Seth Meyers stepping in. And of course, David Letterman. We don't know how much longer he'll be hosting the show, but I just want to know your thoughts. How do you think Jimmy Fallon's going to do at the Tonight Show?
I think, you know what, I think he's going to do great. And I think the reason he's going to do great is that he appeals to quite a mass audience, you know. Even though he's in that 12:30 time slot, he appeals to that 18 to 34 generation, that demographic that they're going for at that time slot. But he also appeals to, you know, the 35 to 54, whatever that next group is. He's got a great mass appeal. He's very funny. He's very likable. One thing that's going to do what he's going to be great at is, if you ever watch him with a guest, he does something that Johnny Carson always did, and that's that Johnny always tried to make the guest look good. The guest was on the show for a reason, whether they were plugging something, you know, they were in a movie or an album or whatever. For whatever reason, they were on the show for a reason. And Fallon, I think, always tries to make sure that that reason gets across. So I think he's really going to do well.
Okay, now have you personally met Jimmy Fallon?
No, I have not. When I used to contribute monologue material, I just used to fax jokes, or not, actually not even fax jokes. I used to email jokes in. There's a guy named Mike Shoemaker on his writing staff. He's been with NBC, was sending in that line to a bunch of organizations for years. They used to email jokes to him, and then every now and then they would buy one to the monologue. So I never actually met the man.
Okay. Well, I'm also curious because I thought about working for like a late night show one day. Now you say that you sent email to that Michael Shoemaker. Now does he, do you like send an application to get the right to send that material to him, or does he contact you?
Generally what happens is when I started contributing, I had a manager for my comedy career, a guy in Detroit who knew him and knew a couple people on the writing staff. And he said, hey, I've got a guy on my roster that I represent who's a good writer. Would you be willing to take a look at some of his stuff? So they said, yeah, sure, have him send some stuff to a certain email address. And basically what I did was I did not send older stuff. I took a couple days and tried to write a bunch of current stuff from the news so that it was very topical, so that they were seeing I was staying up on stuff and writing current items. And I sent probably, 40 or 50 jokes into them, and they thought they were good, and so they said, okay, he can start submitting. And at that point, there's basically like a legal release form that you sign, and essentially spells out the compensation if they're going to use a joke, and also, just a bunch of legal speak that says, if we use this, the joke becomes property of the show, and so on and so forth. If you're using it in your act, you can use it in your act. But I don't really do much topical material like that in my act, so it was kind of fun, because I never had to worry about taking something out of my act, because I didn't do stuff like that. But the thing that was fun is that because I don't do stuff like that in my act, it was kind of fun to change gears and write topical material, for a couple hours every day and submit stuff to them. So that's how it works.
Oh, cool. Now, did you get compensated for these jokes?
Yeah, the ones they bought. They let you know that they used it, and then they'll, a couple weeks later, you're going to check it in the mail.
Oh, that's cool. That's a big bonus right there. All right, now.
It's not a lot of money, but you know what? At least you get to say, hey, I contributed to the show.
Well, that's good. Yeah, especially when it's Jimmy Fallon. That's cool, man. Now,
Yeah.
Now tomorrow night you are coming for a big comedy gig. You're going to be at Wiley's nightclub. It's the eve before. It's going to be the day before Valentine's Day. Have you? What's your experience working at Wiley's nightclub? You have any wild stories?
I don't have any wild stories. They're all good stories. This will be the third time I've been there. The guy who owns the club is a guy named Rob Haney,
Yeah.
who is a comedian himself. And I love working clubs that are owned and run by comedians because it's just kind of a different vibe. And, they kind of know the scene. And so it's always good to see Rob. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm on Bob and Tom quite a bit. And that's, big in your guys' area.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of fans of that show that come out. So I'm looking forward to it. Always look forward to coming to Dayton.
Well, that's good. Now, with Valentine's Day coming up this Friday, do you celebrate Valentine's Day? Do you have any plans for that?
Well, my plans will be I'll be getting my wife a card and a gift tomorrow.
Okay.
I won't see her Friday. I'll talk to her Friday, and then I think we're going to go out to dinner Sunday night when I get back. Those are the plans.
All right. Well, I hope she enjoys
I've
them.
been married for 20 years, so the parades and the fanfare aren't quite what they used to be, but we still love each other.
Oh, well, that's important.
Yeah.
That's important, David. Anyway,
Yeah.
now, of course, you got the gig coming up tomorrow night at Wiley's. Is there any more notable tour dates that you'll be doing within the next month?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to be the following weekend. I'm going to be in Kalamazoo, Michigan for a night, and then Terre Haute, Indiana the next night, and then the following week I'll be in Traverse City, Michigan, and then East Lansing, Michigan, and Michigan State, and then we've got a big comedy festival in Grand Rapids that we put on every year called Laugh Fest that goes March 6th to the 16th. So I'll be real involved with a ton of stuff for that. A lot of busy stuff coming up.
Well, that's cool. Well, I wish you luck in that. Now, I'm about. I think I had one more question. Yeah, I remembered now. Have you released any albums? If you haven't, do you plan on releasing any comedy albums within near future?
Well, I have. I got one I put out a while ago called Yowza. That you
Yowza.
can get on iTunes. That's Yowza.
Okay.
You can get that on iTunes. If you go to my website, which is daviddyercomedy.com,
Uh-huh.
there's a video on the homepage, and then you can take that to go to my YouTube page. There's some video shorts that I put together, and we're going to be putting a bunch more of those together in the next few months. Actually, if anyone goes there, the guy who's the co-star in some of those video shorts is a guy named Kevin Yan,
Uh-huh.
who some people may recognize his voice because he does all the voiceover work for Chrysler on the TV commercials, and he's a great actor. So there's that, and if people want to follow me on Twitter, they can go to @DyerComedy. Follow me there.
Well, that's awesome. So fans of David Dyer, follow him at those websites. Well, David, that's all I have for you, sir. I want to thank you once again for calling. I really appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, Daniel, for having me, and good luck with everything. I
Oh.
don't know if that's what I'm supposed to say, but that's how we're going to end it.
Oh, that's perfect. All right. Thanks, David. Bye. All right. That was amazing. That was the one and only David Dyer, stand-up comedic. So, yeah, so check him out. Of course, if you're in the Dayton area, I think there's a few tickets left for the Wiley's nightclub show, so you can check him out tomorrow. Yes, of course, you could follow if you're one of his hippies, not hippies, groupies. I mean, maybe you're a groupie of his, maybe you can follow him on his other tour dates because he tours a lot. He's a pretty busy comedic. So, with that, thank you to him once again. I think I'm gonna play some more songs. Favorite segment. It's time for the segment everyone stands in line for 5 hours at a time. And of course, for the 100th time, because this is my 100th episode, it's time for OMVP, Ohio's most valuable pedestrian. Where's my music? There we go. OMVP for the 100th time, on the 100th episode. I don't think I've done 100 OMVPs. I think I've done like 92 maybe, but oh well. Okay, that's enough of that. It's OMVP it's a fictionary award that goes to someone in the state of Ohio that did something very interesting or something weird in a good way. And I have for most of my 100 episodes, I've honored people like that. And I guess this episode's no different. But there was a woman over in Columbus, Ohio, sometime earlier this week. She changed her name. She went to federal court, that's in Columbus, and she changed her name. Her name was once Sheila Crabtree, but she is no longer Sheila Crabtree. She is now Sexy Crabtree. Her first name is now Sexy. According to her reasoning for changing her name to Sexy, it meets her personality. She goes to a lot of bars. She likes to dance with men at bars, and she likes to wear a lot of makeup. And she didn't reveal her age during an interview when they talked to her. I I'm guessing I saw a picture of her. She might be in her late 40s, maybe early 50s, and she had two children. Well, she has two children. But yes, she's now Sheila Crabtree. She changed her name to Sexy Crabtree. That's unbelievable. And I'm thinking, what I could change my name. I guess anyone could go to court and change their name. I mean, I could become Sexy Diesel. That's a bad idea. Sexy Diesel. That'd be a nightmare. So anyway, I tell you, Sexy Crabtree, she used up one of her American rights to do something she needed to do. Actually, kind of reminds me when Chad Johnson became Chad Ochocinco, which was that got him quite publicity, and I guess it works. When you change your name, people freak out, and you get in the paper. I'm trying to think who else changed their name. Oh yeah, I guess Clash's Clay. He changed his name to Muhammad Ali, and that gave him a lot of press. So yeah, I guess you gotta do how you feel sometimes. But the artist formerly known as Sheila Crabtree, who is now known as Sexy Crabtree, I salute you. You are a middle-aged mother. You're really into your looks. You're really, really sexy. And you are sexy. That's what your name is now. Not only is your name sexy, but guess what? You're also this episode's OMVP, Ohio's most valuable. He is Mark. But say hello, Mark.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes, welcome. Yes, welcome. Gotta stand up for this. All right, welcome to the show, Mark. Now, of course, I got a reminder of Poppy. Poppy's also in the band. Of course, Poppy, he was here a few years ago, back in 2010. So he couldn't make it tonight. I think he got hit by a bus or something.
Yeah, it was tragic, man.
Yeah, it's tragic. So, but Mark was able to make it tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe one day I'll get both members of the bands to show up. But
yeah, you never know.
but in the future. But right now we'll deal with Mark. He made it, and I just got to know. Now, well, first I want to ask you. This past Sunday, you did a live performance at StageIt.com.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. I purchased it. Of course, it cut out in and out for me, but maybe that wasn't a problem for anyone else. But I just want to know, how much money did you make off that? How successful?
I'm not sure of the actual money thing. I haven't logged into to cash it out or anything, but that's the third or fourth one I've done.
Yeah.
I've done. We've done a couple full band, and I've done a couple by myself. It's cool. When we first started doing it, I think we did our first one about a year and a half ago. The site was relatively new then, and it was kind of a big experiment. And their site's doing really well. It's a neat concept. You get these artists that a lot of times will do it from their home. Like I did my concert from my house, and it's cool for an artist because it's like a neat thing you can do from home. There's no pressure. You can keep it kind of mellow and like just loose and chat with people and play. And then I think as a fan, like I've logged in and checked out some other shows on there. It's neat because you get to see the artist in a comfortable setting and not on stage, playing acoustic and fun. A lot of times when I do mine, you get 30 minutes and then they tack on a 20-minute overlay where you can go into like after 30 minutes, that's your obligation, and then you can keep playing for another 20 minutes until they cut you off. So I've always played the full 50 minutes. What I like to do to keep it loose is I'll write out like 3 or 4 songs that I definitely know I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
And then everything else is all in the chat box requests, what people want to play, and it just keeps it fun and loose. A lot of times on a stage at a show and stuff, it's kind of hard to do requests unless someone's very vocal about it, yelling it out louder than
Yeah.
So it's cool. I enjoy it.
Well, that is great, but it just reminded me of something. I know you had a contest over at the stage where your top tipper, you was going to write a song for him or her.
Yeah.
Now, who was the winner of that, and what are you going to wind up writing for that person?
A gentleman by the name of Tad won it from North Carolina.
Tad.
And, I'm still waiting on him to. I haven't checked my inbox today, so I'm not sure if he sent it in. But he wanted to take some time to think about it. It's a neat project. I've only done that one other time. I did it for actually 1 year ago. I did a stage at show from my home, and I offered as a prize. The top tipper got the song, and I did it for a friend of ours that's seen us a few times over the years from Indiana. Her name's Haley,
Yeah.
and I wrote a song for her about some stuff she had going on in her life, and that was the first time I've ever done it. It was kind of an experiment for me because I've always just wrote from my own point of view and what I was feeling, and it turned out really cool. I was really happy with how it ended up, and it was a really fun project to work on.
Okay. Well, that's great, man. Well, hopefully Ted gets a good song out of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best.
All right.
Tad's a good dude.
Anywho, I want to ask you now. Recently, the Canal Street Tavern, which is in downtown Dayton, and I think a place you've played a few times in the past.
Played one of my first shows ever there.
Awesome.
Great venue.
It's going through a renovation. It kind of closed down temporarily. It might close down permanently. I don't know what the deal with that is, but do you think is the music scene in Dayton growing? Like, do you think more clubs will come about in Dayton that will replace the Canal Street Tavern?
You know, as I started playing music, I started playing in bands right out of high school, and shortly after started playing out of town and attempted to be in touring bands early on, and
Mm-hmm.
so I've been like fighting the good fight for a long time with that, and early on it always seemed like from day one when I was playing in music, everyone was just talking about how the scene was everyone now always says, it doesn't matter when it is, they always say how much better the scene used to be and how it's dead now. And you know, over the last 7 or 8 years when I've been touring pretty hardcore between my bands, I've slowly, not intentionally, but just from being gone all the time, got a little detached from the scene because I'm gone half the year on tour, and when I come home,
Yeah.
and we play local shows with the Story Changes and stuff, and I talk to friends, I kind of get the scoop on which bands broke up, which bands are doing what venues broke up. And things change, but things are always kind of the same. And I think one thing that, you know, in all my travels that I've learned is Dayton has by far the most talent per people, is like for how many bands there actually are here.
Square mile.
Yeah,
How about that?
there's not Dayton's not nearly as big as Cincinnati or Columbus or half, and that's just keeping it kind of regional. But as far as the talent, the bands here are really good and they're really original. There's stuff coming out of Dayton that's it's kind of got its own thing going on, and you know, growing up, I always knew I heard that, and I took pride in our local scene, but you know, the more and more we've toured, and I've gotten to go all over the world now doing it, I'm still amazed that I come home and Dayton still impressed me more than anywhere else. So that being said,
Awesome.
I know Canal, you know, that was like kind of a big thing because Mick finally, like, you know, from what I understand, he sold the club that was booking it, and then I'm not too sure on the specifics now, but I believe he's fully retired from it. But they're calling it, is it the Canal Public House? Is that what they're calling it now?
I don't know what it's called now.
I've heard great things. A lot of my friends are working over there, and I have yet to go in there since they sold it. But,
Are they still doing music? Do they have plans on
yeah,
doing?
they're still doing music. It's from what I've heard, it's great. It's
Okay.
very similar, and Blind Bob's is still going strong as ever.
Oh yeah.
We were lucky enough to play the first show that they did at Blind Bob's, and
Okay.
with this band Auburndale that we were friends with, that did a lot of shows there, and
Yeah.
that's a great venue. South Park Taverns, it's a small room, but that's a great venue to play. It's a lot of fun. Um, you know, there's still, you know, Rockstar Pro Arena is a great new venue that's kind of off the beaten path.
Yeah.
They're doing wrestling
Yeah.
a bunch, but then they're doing shows as well, and the shows are doing really well. And the whole crew that runs that place, I'll always have their backs because those guys have been at it for a long time. I actually lived with some of those guys for a few years, and it's great that they got their own venue now. And we just did a Hawthorne Heights show there
Okay.
at the end of last year, and it was awesome. It was a great turnout, and the staff treated us great. It sounded amazing, and
All right.
can't wait to play there again.
Yeah, but it's good as you brought up Hawthorne Heights. You recently became sort of a member of their band. Are you a full-fledged member of Hawthorne Heights going forward? Do you know?
Yeah, I've been playing with the band over 4 years now, and it started out as kind of like a feel it out live thing.
Yeah.
And it was great. And then we had talked over the years about trying to take it forward because after a while it became obvious it was going to work. At first there was you know, I was doing Story Changes and I didn't know if both could work, and I'm the only non-original member of the band with Hawthorne, and there's a lot of history with that, and great friends of mine, and we came up in the scene. I mean, Story Changes in Hawthorne Heights played some of our first shows together at the Knights of Columbus Hall on Burkhart Road.
All right.
And so I think after kind of feeling it out and playing live with them for a while, we realized it could work, and we talked more about doing it. And we were just so busy, there was never really a good time to like feel it out until beginning of last year, because we were working out all the details to go record the newest Hawthorne record, Zero, and it just seemed like a really good time since we were restructuring to do that record and to kind of talk about it, and we sealed the deal. So the weird thing is nothing changed. Everything feels exactly the same.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it'd be hate if it got weird, but it didn't get weird for you. So.
No, it didn't get weird. I just mean like I think everything's
the same.
Everybody always asks me like how much different is it now that you're in the band, and it felt like I was in the band all along. Those guys were so welcoming about everything, and and we were always together on tour and rehearsing. So like the difference is now is we just had time to figure it out and make it like an official thing. So.
All right. Now, the other cool thing that you, the Story Changes they did for many years, you and Poppy, you hosted an event called Holly Dayton. I noticed there wasn't one this year. Will that be coming back? There was?
Yep.
Because I was looking up for one. They had something about an acoustic concert, which was around that time. I guess. I'm sorry I missed it.
No, someone else. You might be our friend Ricky does this band called the Starving the Belly of the Whale, and he's been doing an annual acoustic holiday show. I know they did that this year, but holiday.
Yeah.
It was, I don't remember, I want to say it was the 27th of this year, but it was great. It was actually this year was our 11th year hosting that show.
11th year, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that clears confusion. You told me about that acoustic concert. That's probably why I looked up.
Yeah.
I couldn't find Holly Dayton anywhere for this year. I freaked out, but that's because I've been to a few of those events in the past. It's just fun.
It's a party, man.
It's great. I love going to those.
It's always a lot of work, and at the end of the night, it's just like me and Poppy end up getting together, and we're just like we have to pick up all the gear and stuff. And and we're just like, we did it. Another year, we did it. So it's always a good feeling.
Well, that's good. Well, we'll try to go to this the one that you do in December 2014. Hopefully, I'll.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's good to know that it's still on because I thought it got canceled. I just couldn't find it for some reason. I was really busy with stuff. I don't have time to.
Man.
All right, that's all right. Well, that's great. I love those events. Now, Valentine's Day is this Friday. Of course, you guys are performing at Blind Bob's this Friday. Do you guys think the Valentine's Day crowd's going to affect your audience? Like, will there be people making out?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. I hope that people will come after they do their Valentine's Day dinner and whatnot. And we'll see. I think a lot of our fans are romantics, but I think a lot of them are also way down to go to a rock show and be loud at the end of the night. So like I think it'll be cool. I'm really excited about the bill. I think it's a really strong lineup. Our friends Chris N and his band is performing. Great dudes. His band actually played the Story Changes Static and Trembling release party for our new record last year.
Okay.
And they blew me away. I thought they were great. I love his new record they just put out. Bear of Bad News is playing. It's Brian Brenner that does Truth and Triumph Tattoo and stuff. It's their new band, and I really like what they've got going on. It reminds me of there's nobody really else in Dayton doing anything like it. It's like it's heavy, but not like the cliche, all the new metal stuff. This is more like a throwback to like I hear a little bit of Quicksand, but they're doing their own thing with it. It's great. And and then there's a touring band from Chicago called the Flips. It's on the show as well. And then Poppy and I, the Story Changes band, will be up at the end of the night to finish it out. So.
Okay, well, if you guys are interested for this Friday, go to Blind Bob's and Story Changes, the headline act. So that'll be this Friday night on Valentine's Day.
Yep.
So bring your lover and have a good.
9 o'clock.
Now we got to take a musical break. This has been a really good interview so far, and we got more for you. Me and Mark has some things planned for you that's you really like. For one, I am going to play 2 of his songs. It was from the album that the band made earlier this year. It was I'm drawing a blanket. Static and Trembling. The album was Static and Trembling. I'm gonna play 2 songs from that album. I'm gonna play Song Inside Your Head, and then we'll play Save You. And then when we come back, if you have any fan questions, this will be the time to ask them, because I will ask them. Of course, as long as they're good and not too anything that's stupid or nasty, I will ask it over the air to Mark.
I encourage the weirdness.
Okay, well, you go ahead. Ask all the weird questions you want.
Doesn't mean we'll answer it, but.
Okay, but also I'll ask him another question about bands in the actual Dayton market that are really good, and then he's got a treat for us. We are back with Ohio is on Fire to show where Ohio throws down. And I am here with Mark McMillion from The Story Changes.
Yo!
And thank you for everyone that's been listening tonight. I really appreciate it. And we did get one caller. He asked a really good question. His name was Joe. He's a fan of The Story Changes. And he has a question for you, Mark. Yeah. He wants to know, being that you write a lot of your songs, and now currently you're with Hawthorne Heights and The Story Changes, when you write a song, how do you know which song fits with what band, and how do you determine that?
It hasn't really been an issue at all so far, because when I came into Hawthorne, as a writing thing to help, was during the last record, and we had already finished recording The Story Changes new album prior. But the writing process in Hawthorne is everybody brings stuff in, but JT, our singer, definitely writes the lyrics and he sings. So if I write a riff or something, I think that I mean, the band sounds similar, but there's definitely some differences with the bands. If I write something that starts with a guitar riff, if it's definitely a Hawthorne thing, I kind of put it on the back burner so we work on the next Hawthorne thing.
Yeah.
Or if I write something with them that I add to, that's definitely a Hawthorne Heights thing. If I write something that starts with vocals, that I write around my own voice, then that's going to be a Story Changes thing. But for the most part, Hawthorne is a rare bird in the fact that it's the only band I know of where, like, I mean, I know there's other bands like this, but it's a new experience for me where I've come in when we wrote the last record and it was all written like everyone in a room together working on ideas and throwing ideas around and something. And so when you do it like that, it's very clear to make it like, it becomes very clear like what's going to be just for Hawthorne is stuff that we're all working on together, you know. But I haven't been in a situation so far where there's been like any inner struggle where I have to decide what I'm taking where, because it just hasn't come up yet, you know. So.
All right, well thank you for that question, Joe. Good question.
Yeah, thanks.
Now I got a few more questions for you personally.
All right, man.
I actually asked Poppy this about 3 years ago. Because I know people have their fantasies on who they'd like to play with one day. And I think he said if Jimi Hendrix came back alive, he'd play with him. Other than that, he wouldn't play with anyone else but you. But now I got to ask you, Mark. Who's your fantasy artist you would like to play with? Alive or dead, doesn't matter.
I've been on I think it was because of the 20th anniversary of In Utero that was, you know, I think it was last year. Ever since then, I've been back on a huge Nirvana kick again, and just because it made such an impact on me when I was growing up, that band, and you know, I always tell people that when I was really, really young, in like pre-high school and stuff, Faith No More song was on the radio, and that was my first favorite band. That was the first time I was like, I like this band. But Nirvana was the first band that came out that made me realize, like, I want to be in a band. You know, I can do that. Like, that looks cool. Let's do that. And that had such an impact on me, and, you know, listened to it so much growing up, and then kind of moved on. Always listened to it, but, you know, you just don't listen to the same stuff all the time. But recently, with the reissues and all the focus, they've all back on those records that they've released as reissues, I've kind of rediscovered my love for Nirvana and all that is the mid-90s. All
right.
So I would say that's the long version. The short version is I would say I would love to be pre Pat Smear era and be the 4th member of Nirvana. It would be so much fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
I have that fantasy too. So there you go. Now I want to ask you. I know Story Changes. I think you guys are a great band, along with Hawthorne Heights.
Thank you.
And there's a few others that I like. But I want to know from you, the master, what other good bands are locally in Dayton are really good right now that perhaps the station here at WSU should be playing more and should be looking out for?
People in Dayton need, you know, if they're not already, they need to get hip to the motel beds.
Okay.
I've known all those guys from their various bands over the year. They're all great dudes, and they've been doing it for a while now with the motel beds, and they were doing it with other bands way before that. But every record or release they keep putting out, or video, or every little thing they're doing, just continues to impress me. So definitely check that band out. The 1984 Draft is another band led by
I've heard of them.
They're led by our friend Joe Andrew, and they're doing great things. I really like their new material. Chris N, who I mentioned, his band is playing. It's called Chris N. They're playing with us this Friday at Blind Bob's. I have their new EP's been on repeat in my car. Me and Mountains is a great band that we've had we've been fortunate enough to play with a few times. I've really enjoyed their stuff. Who else? There's so many great bands in Dayton right now, and I feel like every time I get asked this, I space on somebody that's like a no-brainer that I listen to all the time, and then I feel bad after the interview.
That's okay.
Yeah, Bear of Bad News is a new band that I've really enjoyed. Their stuff, it's a little heavier and different than anything going on in town right now. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you, I just followed the band. I know they've won Best Dayton Band for the last 3 or 4 years, but Higgins and Madewell, have you heard of them? And
this sounds weird, but the only thing I've heard about them is that my mother loves them.
Oh.
My mother has seen them several times.
Okay.
With her friends and my father, and they that's how I've heard of their band. I haven't heard their band, but if you guys are listening, my mother loves you.
All right. Well, according to the people of Dayton, Ohio, and I think all of Ohio, they are the best band in Dayton because they won like last 3 out of 4 years. They've been best band in Dayton.
I believe
that's your competition.
Is it a two-piece?
It's a two-piece.
It's definitely our competition.
Higgins and Madewell. They do folk rock.
Yeah, my mother.
Country.
I just heard they're great, and according to my mom, that she has a lovely voice.
Well, there you go. And I've heard them. Yeah, they have a good folk sound. But
awesome.
I love everyone equally. I'm not choosing sides here.
Yeah, I've learned, as we get older, and trust me, we're getting older. I've just learned that good music is good music, and especially in the music scene, I don't know why there's so much competition, and it is what it is. Every artist should support each other because it's hard enough to be a band these days and, and make a living and get by doing it, and the people always fight to like try to get big, and not that I feel like either of my bands are like huge or anything, but like from someone who's like doing this and trying to do this for a living, I can tell you once you get to a point, you try and then once you get to a point where it's just kind of happening, you realize that mentality, it's like, nah, dude, just help each other out, because you're not taking anything away from each other. There's no competition. It's just art. Support each other.
Well, that's awesome. That's a good mentality to have, man.
Yeah, man.
You and Poppy, that's support each other.
Yeah.
Now, you guys perform all the time. What are your upcoming besides the event that you have this Friday at Blind Bob's? I guess for the next 2 or 3 months, what gigs will you guys be doing?
Well, I'm gonna definitely plug the Bob show this Friday, but I want to plug that Hawthorne Heights. We're playing Saturday night at the Thompson House in Newport, Kentucky, just over the bridge from Cincinnati. It's at the old Southgate House location, but now there's Southgate House moved, but the new venue that's in that old location is called Thompson House. We're playing there Saturday, and it's our closest hometown show for Hawthorne in a while, because we're leaving again for Europe in April. As far as other stuff for Story Changes, we have this show Friday in town, and then we have next week off, and then at the end of this month we'll be down in I don't have the dates in front of me, but I believe it's Portsmouth, Ohio on the last Friday of this month, I guess the 28th of February, and then we're in Richmond, Virginia the 1st of March, Virginia Beach March 2nd, and then all these dates are up on our storychanges.com or Facebook/thestorychanges. There's going to be more southern dates announced in the next week for the following week, and then we're going to announce, I believe, the singer of Hawthorne, my buddy JT, is putting out a solo record in March, and we're going to be playing a show with him in Dayton at, I believe it's going to be at the New Canal Street Tavern. So,
all right.
Sometime in March, yeah.
Well, check those out. I think most of those places, I guess you just have to come to the door to get tickets. Is it a way, like, is there any venue that perhaps you go online and get tickets? That'd be like Ticketmaster. Probably not.
Yeah, a lot of them do it through the site, but for a lot of these shows, it's just walk up. I know
okay.
For the Thompson House show on Saturday for Hawthorne, that's you can buy pre-sale tickets. And
okay.
I'm being told that might sell out, so it's probably a good idea to get tickets for that.
Yes, do it. Do it. Without further ado, Mark McMillion from The Story Changes. He's going to perform State Lines, acoustic style.
Sweet, man. Let me try to move this microphone where it's somewhere between me and the guitar.
Do what you got to do.
Get this frog out of my throat. Alright. We pass through these state lines with music and headlights and warm coffee and night drive. In just 3 days till daytime, head east towards the homeland, and I promise to meet you there. I'm sitting at the top of the world, I think it's driving me crazy. I'm growing up and I'm lazy. I'm playing with this knife for so long, I push my luck on the sharp edge. I either land on the doorland or be caught in Southwest U.S. desert, and through Phoenix and onward. Good friends, gorgeous weather. These phone calls and postcards will hold us until March. I carry with me at the top of the world, I think it's driving me crazy. I'm growing up and I'm lazy. I'm playing with this knife for so long, I push my luck on the sharp edge. I either land on the doorland or be caught in the hand or the throat, or maybe the part that can't let go of the past, of it all. Wherever I go, I hope that you know I'll never betray you. That's not what I want. Please don't look down. Keep us afloat. Don't let go. Through these state lines with music and headlights and warm coffee and night drives, warm coffee and night drives. At the top of the world, I think it's driving me crazy. I'm growing up and I'm lazy. I'm playing with this knife for so long, I push my luck on the sharp edge. I either land on the doorland or be caught in the hand or the throat, or maybe the part that can't let go of the past, of it all. Wherever I go, I hope that you know I'll never betray you. That's not what I want. Please don't look down. Keep us afloat. Don't let go. That's a song for my Valentine.
All right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just me clapping, but that was great. I love it. Quick announcement. I'll be on next Wednesday night from 8 to 10, episode 101. And I will have Robert Leonard. He is representative of the Adventures Guild here at Wright State University, but it's a gaming experience, and I will have him on next Wednesday night. I will talk to him about online gaming. I'll talk to him about fantasy and role play, cosplay, and probably I'll think of some other things to talk to him about. And also I'll play some cool music. Once again, I'll do MVP. So that's next Wednesday night. It's live, on the air, uncut, uncensored. Well, it has to be censored if something bad happens, so never mind that. Maybe one day, maybe SiriusXM will sign me eventually. And you know what? I wish they would sign me. Because I've been doing this now for 7 years. This is my 100th episode. And I love the feel of radio, the way it was meant to be, the way I grew up listening to. And I do support any DJ that really enjoys doing this, doing it the way it needs to be. When they have that freedom, the freedom that used to exist back in the 70s and 80s and 90s. The bad news is that we don't have a lot of radio freedoms anymore. Well, at least in college we do, but I'm talking about corporate radio. I'm talking about our good buddies at Clear Channel and our good buddies at Mainline Broadcasting. And I'm even looking your way, NPR, because I got a little bit of chip on my shoulder. Because I got a little story to tell. Back in 2010, because when I was here, I had one of the hottest shows in radio. Ohio is on Fire was a very good thing for me in my life. I worked very hard to make it what it is. And I can always do more, but I came a long way. And I always thought that in business, when someone did good, or someone showed promise, they would at least give you a listen. They at least give you a chance to perhaps join other stations, get offers. And I thought I'd be a diplomat, because I know people, they have to show themselves. They got to get better and prove themselves worthy over time. And I think around 2010, I've done probably about 3 years of broadcasting, 4 years. And I know I can do this. I know I got what it takes. Haven't done this many times. I know I belong as a broadcaster of some sort, either entertainer or provider. And I'm also a voice of the voiceless, because a lot of people, they don't have a great opportunity to even do college radio, to have any type of outlet to talk. And I'm glad to be that person for them. And the thing is, years ago, when someone did a very good job, of course, they get promoted or they move up the ladder. But for some reason, that didn't happen to me. And for the record, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a drug addict. It wasn't because I know people, they when they do something in their careers, they sabotage themselves. But I've never once sabotaged myself. I don't do drugs. I don't drink beer. I am someone that you could trust if someone ever gave me a shot. And yes, I'll get to my little story. I tried to capitalize on my success of Ohio is on Fire way back in 2010. I offered to be an intern at places. And this might be out of order. I forget what time frame it was. I think it was anywhere from early 2011 to probably early 2012, when what my work that I did was still relevant. For one, I tried to be an intern at NPR, the Yellow Springs station. It's they're an NPR affiliate. Of course, they do more fact checking at that station. They do more. They're more formal, as you say. I guess that's the word for it. They're more formal. They're trying to be too edgy. They play a lot of folk music, and they have a high class audience. I know. If you know anything about NPR in Yellow Springs, they do a lot of syndicated programming of people that are not from around here. They do a handful of local shows, not very many. And I had high hopes of maybe I could work out at NPR. I offered to be an internship, which I know they had one or not. And so I sent an email back in 2011-ish, because I was still at Sinclair, hoping to be an intern. And I sent my internship. I got a reply back from Sarah Buckingham, really nice lady. And I know this wasn't, any decision that was made wasn't her decision. She's just a middle lady, just doing the best she can, put food on her table, and also former DJ. Us DJs, we got to do the best we can. But anyway, me and her talked a few times, told her I was wanting an internship. And she had said that there was possibly something for me. And then something happened. And like I said, this was out of her control. they had told me that they weren't doing internships anymore. I was offered to be one of those phone call people where you get I guess they take donations because the station they rely on donations to stay alive. But they have people that take phone calls. Yes, they offered me I could do phone calls once or twice a year, but I said nay. I wasn't interested in that. And I know people have their disagreements. I didn't think much of it at the time, but then something happened on October 2011. The Yellow Springs radio station that's the affiliate of NPR. I think it's WYS. I think it's WYS. I forget the name of their letters. Their call letters. Well, they had a contest back in late October 2011. They had a dog calling contest over at Pierce Park, which is in my hometown, right in my backyard. And they offered people to make animal noises. And whoever had the best animal noise, they'd win some type of gift certificate. Of course, you had to bring your pet dog to the park. Not only did they get this gift certificate, but they got something else. From what I read into it, they got to be the host of their own show at the Yellow Springs radio station. So I was really irked by this. Some guy off the street can bring his dog. He could have a good dog impression. And if he wins, he gets his own stinking show on corporate radio. On primetime radio, if you will. And I couldn't understand why anyone would do that, any station would do that. Because, the people at Yellow Springs, they should know damn well that there's plenty of people that are really good at this. There's the people at Wright State, and there's people at the UD radio station. I don't know why they could have given them a call and offered them that hosting spot, but no, they decided to have a dog hosting contest, a dog calling contest. And it's their loss. I think unless no one's told me otherwise, it sounded like self-serving idea. It was some guy in management. He had some wild idea. He says that there's probably people that are looking for jobs. Let's make them beg for it. Let's humiliate them. Let's make them do a dog calling contest. And I am way better than that. I'm not going to do some stupid dog calling contest, even if it is nearly in my backyard, my hometown of Xenia. I'm not doing that. No one else should. It should be based on merit and talent. So I'm not too happy with you guys right now. I think they did so again this past October. They did this a few times. I guess it's a yearly event in October. I think it's hokey. I request that you put it into it. And actually do some searching for some real talent around here. Because there's talent that really needs the job and money. They would really appreciate it. Not some silly contests. So anyway, that's my bite with them. No pun intended. And now the other thing that I'm upset about, I'm upset with mainline broadcasting. Because they had, I think back in early 2012, they had a calling call for broadcasters to apply to be a host, do an on-air host for one of their stations. Of course, the people at mainline, they do Fly 929, they do Hot 1029, and of course I applied. I thought maybe they would hire me. I have a good background. Sure enough, I never heard anything back from them, so I eventually assumed that they didn't want me. But the thing is, they said they were going to hire somebody to be on-air talent. I don't really think they hired anyone at the time. I don't know if they changed their mind, or they decided they was going with the excuse that they don't have money. And that's the excuse, like there's no money. I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you right now, that's bullcrap for any company that says that, especially any mainstream radio station, because they get ads playing all the time, and they get bunches of money. They get millions of dollars. What is this money is going to corporate America, the people in management. And the reason why this is happening is that they figured out a secret a long time ago. This is something that's been in practice for quite some time. And I guess to make things easier, I guess if you're like any good DJ, perhaps you've seen the movie Private Parts. That's that movie with Howard Stern about how he made it into radio. And he worked for a radio station. It was over in some small town in New York. He worked for that Indian guy. I forget his name, but he was he was management. Of course, he thought he was no good to be a radio DJ. He was never going to be any good. Of course, we know what happened with that. He became the biggest radio star in history. But anyway, he at one point he told him to go fire a DJ. That he wasn't doing too good. He had to go fire a DJ. And of course, then he got upset. Howard Stern refused to fire such DJ. And then the manager guy, the Indian guy, he got upset saying, "Listen, these DJs, they're dogs. You gotta make them fetch like dogs. Go be a man." That's what he said. Be a man. And of course, he refused to do so. But the thing is that mentality of DJs being dogs, that is a very true mentality. I believe that's true over at Mainline. I believe it's about getting as much money as you can as possible. I believe it's miserable over there because, in fact, I actually took a visit to their studios. Well, not studios, because I was really curious about them. I've heard about them for years. They got a little building. It's over on 717 East Dayton Road. They got a main lobby, and I went to it, and this lady, she looked like the most loneliest lady ever. She probably hadn't seen a person probably like 20 years, 20, 30 years. I don't know. I don't think anyone ever visits that lobby. And I'll ask her if they had tours. Maybe you could sign up for a tour, or there's anything that particular building did to do promotions. And she said no, they don't do much of anything. A few people come in the morning, usually an engineer guy, and most of what they do is pre-recorded. The few of the talents that they do have, they pre-record material, and then they just up and leave, and no excitement ever happens. Everything's guarded. Quite frankly, I think that's sad, because everything they do is mostly run by a computer, and they got the money. Listen, that's crap. They got money. There's plenty of talent. That money's going to corporate America, to the corporates. And Mainline's really guilty of this right now. They should open up their pockets a little bit and reach out to some true talent. There's a lot of good people in this town. So, anyway, so I couldn't work for them. And now, one last story. Yes, I tried applying to work for Clear Channel, or as we call here, the station here at WSU, we could call them the Evil Empire, because Clear Channel, they're the top dog in terrestrial radio. And the reason why they're top dog in terrestrial radio, one of the big reasons for that is the Telecommunications Act of 1996. It was passed by federal courts that there should be no limitations to what companies can own how many radio stations or television stations. The limit used to be 48, but that was lifted. You can own as many as you want. And that left the door wide open for Clear Channel to wipe everyone out. And radio has suffered greatly for it. Clear Channel has killed the spirit of radio. And thing about this is, I thought maybe things could change over there. I thought even with the success I had here at Wright State, they would perhaps give me an internship. I was hopeful. I was being the cheerful Daniel, just putting my thumbs up, doing the best I can, looking for a job. And sure enough, they didn't call me back either. They said no to me. And I think they made a real big mistake. Of course, I'm bummed out because I know I can do this. And you know what else? I've had to live a pretty crappy life last few years. You know, I've had to be a common man of sorts. I felt like a real big loser after that. I felt real bad. You know, life has thrown me a curveball a few times. And yes, I am upset that the mainstream stations here in Dayton, they didn't give me a hookup. I struggle to pay the bill, and quite frankly, I don't deserve that. I deserve way better. I know I failed a lot of things in my life. You know, I tried to be, when I was younger, I tried to be a Little League baseball star. Of course, that didn't last much longer. I did that for like 3 years. So maybe I'm not a good baseball star. I mean, maybe I'm not rocket science. Maybe I'm not a good, rocket scientist. My bad. Maybe I'm not a good janitor. Maybe I'm not good boyfriend material because I'm still looking to find me a girlfriend. And I am lonely. Yes, I'm single this Valentine's Day, ladies, just in case. I might be bad at a lot of things. One thing I'm good at is broadcasting. I am one of the best in the Dayton, Ohio market. In fact, scratch that. I'm the best in the world. I don't have to beg for anything. I'm not a corporate butt kisser. I do things the way that it was meant to be. I'm a true creator. I'm a true artist. And unfortunately, Clear Channel does not appreciate that anymore. It's all about advertisements. It's all about using the songs that they play. I want to tell you about this documentary they have. It's called the Before the Music Dies. The music business has suffered greatly because of what Clear Channel is doing. Everything's about timing. Everything's about simplicity. It's about reaching a certain market and getting to the next ad on time. And and you hear this music on these stations, you wonder who decides to play this music. Because unlike the college radio stations, like what I do, I have every control of every song that I get to play on here, everything that I say, and that's true of all DJs here. But that's not true at Clear Channel and Mainline. They have to play what they are told. And they don't play what they told. Let's say 1077. They decide they wanted to play some Jay-Z. Well, they have a ban on rap music over at 1077. Someone decided to play rap music without getting permission from that little piece of paper. They probably get fined or they probably get fired. And that's just unfair. And of course, if they talk too long over on one of the big main stations, they got like 2 to 3 minutes time to talk. They can't overdo it. They'll probably get fired. They have to seriously bow down to the corporate whims. But someone's got to be in charge of the music that's played, what we do here on these stations. Who's in charge? And I'll make it more simple. For Clear Channel, their manager right now is Tom Doran. Yes, that man, he is in charge of all material that airs on Clear Channel. All the lame musics, all the Justin Biebers and One Directions you hear, well, he's in charge of that. He lets it go. And you better play those songs or you're probably not going to last much longer at the station. They'll get up, they'll probably be a nice little secret meeting, telling how much of a disgrace you are to the business, all that good stuff. It's probably happened. I don't know to who, but there's no freedom. I thought America was about freedom. Sometimes you gotta trust the artists. And Clear Channel has taken that freedom away single-handedly. They are the biggest bullies in all of the history of entertainment. And for the Dayton market, you can blame Tom Duran. He is in charge of pretty much no creativity whatsoever. And creative people like me cannot get a job elsewhere within that market when we deserve one real badly. When a lot of good people deserve to get work there and they're not getting any. And that bums me out. That really makes me very angry. Daniel Diesel ain't very happy with that. So Clear Channel, I'm just telling you, I give you your chance. I try to be the diplomat. If you want me, if anyone that wants me, come and get me. I don't beg. I don't play games. I'm not a politician. I don't kiss butt. I kick butt. I am the best in the world at what I do. Warning. This episode of Ohio is on Fire contains strong opinions and viewpoints that belong to the host and guests that appear on Ohio is on Fire. This show contains entertainment and honesty that reaches extreme levels. Please do not try this at home.
Tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
My name is Elizabeth Holford, and I'm the Executive Director at Equality Ohio.
I have a First Amendment.
Equality Ohio?
These officers want me to leave this position just because you got cameras.
Equality Ohio.
Can you believe it?
Witnesses say during a heated confrontation, a healthcare reform opponent had his pinky finger bitten off when he stuck it in a healthcare reform supporter's face. Police say the 65-year-old man picked up his finger and drove himself to Los Robles Hospital, where they're now trying to reattach it. Police tonight are searching for the biter who ran from the scene.
Enough! Silence! I can't take no more.
Fire! 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 Fire!
Let's just talk. Listen, I'm sorry. You're highly professional at what you do. Get here and read.